Hey guys, before I get anywhere near to the game, make sure to go and follow the official fan community of Everlasting Summer to keep updated with all the awesome features coming soon to the game. This site is where all of us Everlasting Summer fans unite, and the links will be down in the description if you want to go check it out. If you have any questions about this game and its new features that are coming soon, make sure to ask this gentleman right here, and I'm sure that he will be able to answer any questions. Thanks guys. Hello everybody, my name is AFHGaming and welcome back to some more Everlasting Summer! Okay, let's continue on with the story then, shall we? Bus, summer, camp, girls. I was so tired from everything new and strange that I could not come up with a single explanation for what was going on. I heard a barely noticeable rustle nearby. I shivered and looked in that direction. A girl, reading a book. Lena. I decided to move closer and talk. She was the only new person I had met here without exchanging even a few words. Hi, what are you reading? Lena was so surprised that she even jumped. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. Never mind. She blushed and stared at the book again. So what are you reading? On the cover was written, Gone with the Wild. Should I praise the book or keep... Praising the book means you tell her that it's a good book and all this stuff, but I just don't feel like Lena. I just don't want her. So I'm just gonna keep silent because I don't want Lena. Honestly speaking, I haven't read it, but I think that such literature suits her very well. Lena didn't seem to be interested in continuing the conversation. Well, if I'm bothering you... No, she answered while still looking at the book. Can I sit beside you for a while? Why? And really, why? Maybe just because I was very tired and having company is better than being alone. And maybe I wanted to try to find something out from her. I carefully examined Lena. But no, I doubt that. Well, I don't know. I'm not allowed to? Feel free. But if I'm bothering you... No, you're not. I can leave, just say. Everything's alright. Okay then. I sat on the end of the bench carefully. After such an intense talk, staying here was the last thing I wanted, but it wouldn't be nice to just stand up and leave. That didn't really go well, huh? Lena hasn't answered anything. It seems I made a fool out of myself. I bet if Olyana was here, she'd have a good laugh at me. Do you enjoy being here? I recall the Slavia's question and thought it would be a good start for a conversation. Yes. She smiled slightly. I guess I like it too. Lena definitely isn't very sociable and probably can't carry out meaningless conversations as easily as Slavia. But there was something about her that attracted attention, like a momentary glimpse of a reflection in the glass on a rainy autumn evening, which makes you turn around and stare into the darkness, searching for something that you saw out of the corner of your eye. Of course, you weren't able to distinguish or understand what it was, but it still felt so tempting. Lena was still reading the book without paying any attention to my presence, and I had no intention of asking her anything about this camp or this world in general. Beautiful night. Yes. How in a world would you start a conversation with her? It's late. I have to go. Yes, it's quite late. Good night. Night. Oh my god, Semyon is such a pervert! Just talk to her! There was something strange about this girl. At first glance, she's a typically shy and modest pioneer girl, but the mystery of Lena took its own place in the massive list of mysteries about this camp, which I had started to put together in my head. A lazy evening. There's nothing like a good time with nothing to do. I headed towards Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. The light in the house was on. Hello, Semyon. You're quite late. Yeah, I went for a walk to look around the camp. All right. You will be sleeping here. She pointed her finger at one of the beds. Right here? I was a bit surprised. Yeah, is something wrong? We're out of free cabins anyway. The camp leader smiled, but I rather think it was just out of politeness. You do want to be a decent pioneer, don't you? There was a clear emphasis on the word decent. Yeah, sure. I was lost in thought for a moment. Don't you mind it, mademoiselle? She looked at me oddly, with surprise and some offense in her eyes. A pioneer should respect their elders, Olga Dmitrievna said strictly. Of course he should. No one argues with that, I blathered, not realizing what was wrong. Shouldn't you also? She stared at me. Oh God, the death stare. Under such a gaze, even mithril forged by the best dwarf masters from the deepest dungeons would melt. Should I what? What's up, toots? Annoyance and a lack of understanding made me raise my voice. You must address adults appropriately! Man. Oh. Yes, of course, there are a lot of strange things here. But this girl is just a couple of years older than me. Or maybe even younger. But I decided not to argue. While just a few minutes ago I would never have called her an adult, I have to admit that she was also given a strong character. And in any case, I wasn't in a position to argue. As you say, ma'am, I mumbled. That's much better. That is how a decent pioneer should conduct himself. And now it's time to sleep. Honestly speaking, I was going to become neither decent nor an indecent pioneer. Just yesterday, I wasn't going to become a pioneer at all. But do I have a choice now? If you don't want to, well, we'll have to make you. This is the motto Olga Dmitrievna was probably going to use. Well, I climbed onto the bed and closed my eyes only to realize how tired I was after today. Something hammered in my head awfully as if my brains had started a night shift, and they seemed to be aimed more at rolling steel than working on something more sensitive. The bus flew through my mind, and the square with the monument, the canteen full of pioneers, and the malicious face of Olyana. Oh yes, Slavia. Lena. And even recalling Elisa didn't give me too much of a negative feeling. What if I'm here for good? Oh, no, finally, day 2. God, how long is this game? I totally forgot, played this like a long time ago. I was having a dream. It seemed like I was in some kind of a vacuum with nothing but nothing around me. But not only around, I was the only creature in the universe. As if the universe had returned to a state of singularity right before the Big Bang. And something was just about to happen. Suddenly I heard a voice. I could not make out the words, but it sounded familiar. The voice was whispering something gently, as if soothing me. And then I realized it was the voice of the strange girl from the bus, the girl from the dream. But what is she trying to tell me? Who is she? I woke up. Oh, beautiful morning, isn't it? Bright sunlight struck my eyes. It was almost noon. After stretching lazily on the bed and yawning, I started to recall the previous day. In a few seconds, all its events passed before my eyes. The bus, the camp, the local inhabitants. No, that's just wrong. Not this whole situation, not me being here. It was wrong by default. My attitude towards what was happening was wrong. Because yesterday I fell asleep here just like that, and before that I chatted nicely with the local pioneers, even managed to crack a few jokes. How can I act like that in such a situation? I should be frightened, startled by every little rustling, should avoid all contact with the potentially hostile creatures. The last day's events were getting hazy, like I had a hangover. This really feels like the morning after a heavy drinking party. Yesterday's natural, flawless, absolutely normal conduct becomes a nightmare in the morning. A grotesque illustration from the Divine Comedy. Yes, it's just like that, and I can't change the past now. Then again, I probably assessed the situation and was acting accordingly. I glanced around trying to figure out whether I had been thrown somewhere else, but Olga Dmitrievna's cabin looked the same as yesterday. Everything seemed to be in its place except for a pioneer uniform, which was hanging from the bedhead. I fumbled with its distrust and tried it on. At least this is better than walking around in winter clothes. Wish I could see myself. Bet I look like a clown. And for that, I needed a mirror. At least a tiny one. I finally found one in the mirror wardrobe. Holy! I looked at the newfound pioneer, jumped away in surprise. Is he young again? There was some teenager on the other side of the mirror. He resembled me, but he wasn't me. Where did the weak stubble go? Where were the bags under my eyes, the slouch, that deathly fatigue on my face? It seemed that I had not been thrown back in the time or into a parallel rally, but instead I had simply changed body with someone else. Right, that's real simple. Such things happen every day. I took a closer look at the stranger and only then realized that it was actually me. It was just today's me, maybe the one from between my school and university years. Well, at least that's something. There you go, the person in an extreme situation did fail to notice the elephant in the room after all. Funny joke. But the camp leader noticed it, and last night she told me off from addressing her without proper respect. Ah, screw that. I doubt my appearance affects anything else. If the clock was not lying, breakfast was long over. Oh well, I'll try to find something in the canteen. It worked out yesterday with Slavia, didn't it? Those memories made me smile involuntarily. The sun was shining brightly outside, a light breeze was blowing. A beautiful summer day! I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All problems were gone, vanished into clouds that were white as snow. Olga Dmitrievna came out of nowhere. Good morning, Semyon. Morning! I smiled, doing my best to show that no matter what, my morning was indeed good. You only arrived yesterday, so I decided not to wake you up about breakfast. Never mind. Here, take this. She handed me something, wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. Oh, thank you. Now go wash yourself. I was about to leave. Wait a second. Olga Dmitrievna quickly ran into the house and came back to shove a small bag in my hands. Inside it, I found a toothbrush, soap, a small towel, and something else. I did not look too closely. A pioneer should always be clean and tidy. Let me do your neckerchief properly for the first time. Yours is Askew. You should do it yourself once you learn how to. Do we have to? I'm gonna go wash myself now. Yeah, right. It could get hooked on the tap and strangle me. Fine, later then. And don't forget about the lineup. Pencils, papers, drawing lines. You don't forget such things. What lineup? What do you mean, what lineup? She frowned. It's Monday today. Weird, but my approximation, it should have been Sunday. Then again, a shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing. Usually we have lineups early in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday today, so we are having it at 12 o'clock. Don't be late. All right, but where? At the square. Where else? There was no reason to argue. I headed to the bathing place. I knew I could forget about the separate showers and toilet, but at the sight of the malfunctioning symptom of decaying socialism, a funny turtle with a tin shell paused, tapped and turned on my belly. I felt sick. Oh. Sorry, guys. I was not a squeamish person, but nevertheless, standing there, I realized that there was still some minimal level of habitual comfort, which I found it troublesome to do without. It's often like that. When you lose things that you thought were ordinary and common, you suddenly understand just how essential they were. Ah, screw this. As if I had any choice. God, the art in this game is so good. The water was ice cold. While washing my hands was not an issue, washing my face and mouth became a big problem. There was no toothpaste in the bag which Olga Dmitrievna gave me. I could brush my teeth without it, but there was a small round box wrapped in the towel. Tooth powder. Cute. 1 point for me being somewhere in the past. How can you have tooth powder in this century? Are they like way in the past? I washed myself quite quickly, also due to the ice-cold water. Someone was coming quickly, or more like running towards me. I turned around. Oh, it's Slavia! It was Slavia, just an attractive. This girl would probably look good in anything. Pioneer floor, bikini, probably even a spacesuit. Hey there! Oh, heyo, I mean, wazow. Good morning, yeah. Oh yeah, real smooth. Why didn't you come for breakfast? I overslept. I said it as if I was proud of it. But Olga Dmitrievna gave me some sandwiches. Oh, great then. Don't forget about the lineup. Yeah, sure. As if I could forget. Right, I gotta run. Enjoy yourself. She waved goodbye to me and disappeared around the path's bend. Looks like it's a couple of minutes until the lineup. I should quickly pass by my home to drop off my washing bag, eat the sandwiches, and then head to the square. I swung open the door and the camp leader's cabin, rushed inside as if jumping into the last car of departing train. Oh my god! I'm gonna censor that totally. It didn't turn out to be the best idea because inside I found Olga Dmitrievna, who was changing. I froze on the spot trying not to breathe. Finally, the camp leader noticed me. Semyon! I looked away immediately. Have you heard of knocking? Now get out! I shouldn't really censor that. It's not really inappropriate much. Yeah, that was real clumsy. Although I did enjoy the sight. Oh, I would too. Olga Dmitrievna followed me out in a minute. Here, take this. Now it's your home too. Oh, I got the keys. She handed me a key. I put it in my pocket. Home. Of course, if you disregard how fantastical the current events were, this camp was far from being the worst place on earth, but to call it home. Just after one day spent here, I doubt I'll ever be able to do so. Alright, let's go, we're late. But what about the sandwiches? Just eat them on the way. We were passing along the lines of the pioneers' cabins while I was tucking into the ham sandwiches, and Olga Dmitrievna kept on talking and talking. She was buzzing like a game of Operation with Parkinson's. But I cared about nothing but the food. Understood? Huh? You weren't listening! Sorry. Today's the first day of your new life as a pioneer. No, thank you! And you should do your best so that it becomes a happy life. Yeah, definitely. I'm serious. A pioneer has many duties. Great responsibility is conferred upon him to participate in social work, to help his juniors, to study and study and study again. We here all like one big family, and you will become a part of it. Yeah, a part. I'd even sign a party membership card if it could save me from listening to this nonsense. I hope that after your term here is over, you'll keep the most pleasant memories about our camp. Memories that will last your whole life. And when will this term end? Why do you keep asking silly things? It seems I won't get any information from her. A shame, really. This world appears to be so friendly, but it never bothered me to introduce myself. Perhaps now I can take things somewhat easier than yesterday. It seems like I have some unspoken ceasefire with it. It isn't trying to hurt me, but I'm forbidden from asking questions. Of course, this situation isn't a pleasant one, but what can I do about it? A bad peace is better than a good dispute. The most important thing for you now is to make the best of the time you'll spend here. I'll do my best. Honestly, I was very tired of this conversation. It would be good to know where that here is, but... We came to the square. The pioneers were already lined up. What, is somebody not here yet? Nope, all here. She looked around at the brave pioneer troops. Alright, go stand somewhere. Weird. Why did she tell me there are no more sleeping places? Dear all the people. While the chief was running her mouth about our plans for the week, I stared at the people. A few heads away from me stood Electronic, a little further Lena and Slavia, and at the end of the line Olyana and Elisa. Everyone I had met was here. Olga Dmitrievna spoke about some competitions, and I turned my attention to Monument, Genda. I could not remember any revelatory with a similar name. He had a weird posture too, as if he was looking around with distrust, maybe contempt, or even disdain. Probably some local leader. Daydreaming again? Whoa. Slavia brought me back to reality. Olga Dmitrievna stood nearby. Still remember the plans for next week? The plan? I will never forget the plan. Perfect! She looked at Slavia. Did you bring it? Yes. Slavia handed me a piece of paper. It's a checklist here. Our 4 tasks to check off. Do it all today. Before you start, sign up for a club. There's some clubs in the clubhouse and a musical club in a separate building. Then visit the infirmary. And finally visit the library. Got it? Yes. The checklist seemed like a good chance to find out something since I had to go to places I haven't been before. Then come on, start right now. What about lunch? Don't worry, I'll bring you more sandwiches. The checklist is more important. Good luck. They departed too fast for me to ask anything else. Missed breakfast, now I'll miss lunch too. This ain't good. Maybe I'll manage it in some time somehow. Lunch starts at 1 p.m. Then again, I'll go there. I might miss a place from the checklist. Okay, it's too early to go to the canteen anyway. Oh my god, the decisions now. Oh, what am I gonna choose? What am I gonna choose? You know what? Let's just go to the library. Actually, I love reading, but spending my days in the library under the current circumstances was well beyond my scope. So I'd better hurry up with this checkpoint. As I stepped inside, a memory from my childhood emerged in my head. It was very vivid. I'm 7 or 8 years old. I'm at the library with my mother. While she's looking through the books I might need for my studies, I'm sitting in the corner and looking through their collection of comic books. Back then I didn't know why they had so many, or why couldn't I take some with me. The notion of collective property was something my mind hadn't grasped yet at the age. However, back then, the whole concept of property was pretty hazy to me. This memory seemed even stranger now while I was standing in this particular camp where they might have managed to build communism in 3 years. Soviet symbolism was all over the place and the shelves were full of related literature. Of course, I wasn't planning to read any of these. Getting acquainted with a full collection of books by Marx, I don't know how to pronounce the name, was the last thing on earth I would think of. Where's the librarian? I didn't spend much time looking for her. Oh, sleeping at work. I looked closely. Short hair, thick glasses, rather cute face. She was snoring so peacefully I couldn't just wake her up. I can wait. If she doesn't wake up in half an hour, maybe then. I couldn't just sit there, so I took a random book from the nearest bookshelf. Arthur Sculpin, I don't know how to pronounce that. The World as Will and Representation. I opened it roughly in the middle and started reading. The life of a man, with its endless upkeep, wants, and suffering, it is to be regarded as the explanation and paraphrase of the procreative act, the absolute claim of the will to live, and furthermore, it is also the reason the man owes nature his death, and thinks with anxiety of this debt. Is this not the evidence that our existence involves guilt? At any rate, we always exist. From time to time, paying with debt from our birth, we always exist and alternately bear all the joy and sorrow of life. Since neither of both can pass us without some effect, that is a result of our stated will to live. Thus, the fear of death, which in spite of all the miseries of life holds us firmly to it, is really elusive. But just as elusive is the impulses which has attracted us into it. This attraction itself may be seen objectively as the mutual longing glances of two lovers. They are the purest expression of the will to live. In its affirmation, how gentle and tender it is. It wants happiness and quiet, pleasure, and mild joys for itself, for others, for all. That book was kind of boring. Someone knocked on the door. I closed the book quickly and put it back in its place. What a nice habit, knocking on the door. I should pick it up. It was Lena. Oh. Hi, I smiled. Hi, I just wanted to return a book. She had the copy of Gone with the Wind that I saw yesterday. Oh, Xenia's sleeping. I'll come back later. I'm awake. I don't know how to do a voice for her. I turned around in surprise to look at her. She eyed me closely from behind her table. What is it you wanted? I need you to check here. Give it here. She quickly signed the paper and gave it back to me. She had this look on her face that made me want to keep quiet. Lena came up to her and returned the book. I thanked Xenia and went out. Okay. I think I'm going now to go... Where can I go? Let's go to the kitchen dining hall. Since I'm hungry, I want to eat. But anyways, guys, we are about to stop here. I really enjoyed this. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe to join the AFH Army. And I'll see you all in my next video. Adios.